So, can you tell us about who you are?
I'm Clayton Welwood. I'm the leader of the BC Libertarian Party.
And what does that mean? What is libertarian?
Well, libertarians are people who believe in less government. They believe in individual liberty, and they want to see a world where individuals are empowered to realize what they want and don't look to government to solve all of their problems.
So, if you felt like you were being put upon by establishment, would the Libertarian Party be something that was attractive to you?
Yeah, well, that's what our political program is basically about. We've lived under the idea that central planners can fix all of society's problems for the past 100 years, but now it's starting to wear thin, and we're realizing that every time the government creates a new program, whether it's to eliminate poverty, to get people off of drugs, or whatever it is, they spend millions or billions of dollars. But does it actually fix the problem? Most of the time, no. And an even more important question to ask is, if the government hadn't taken control of this problem, what would civil society have done in its place to address the problem? When we look at the number of charities, we look at the number of people who volunteer, that give their time to worthy causes, we see that there's a great variety and there's a great amount of human energy that goes into addressing problems in all sorts of different ways. And that this diversity of approaches in this mix of different people trying out different things in civil society, this is the way to solve complex and difficult problems.
So why shouldn't we let the government solve our problems for us?
Yeah, well, we have two problems when it comes to the idea that government needs to take over and solve a certain social problem. One is that they have to tax to do that. So as they tax people, people have less disposable income to give to charities, or even less of their free time that they could volunteer because they have to work more hours to pay the taxes and so on. Then you also have the displacement factor. When government says, okay, we're now going to solve the problem of drugs. People say, okay, well, seems like the government's on top of it. You know, I'm just going to go to work, pay my taxes, and sounds like that they've got it figured out. It doesn't always work out that way.
What would you say to people who are reluctant to join established political organizations?
Yeah, first of all, it's a great community. We're still a small party, so we're very welcoming. We're very friendly, and we have great discussions about all sorts of topics, political, economic, and social. So I'm sure that if you want to get involved with the party and you're engaged about these issues, you'll have a good time meeting other people involved. But from a political point of view and a big picture view, basically we want to have another option on the table for voters. So people are used to going to the polls, and you know, they've got liberals and they've got conservatives and they've got social democrats, and you know, you can kind of pick a different flavor, but the solution that all those major parties are offering is just more government.
Would there be advantages to young people running in the next provincial election as a libertarian candidate?
Yes, there would be, for sure, and that's what we're looking to do. The best metric of success that we can have is to have as many candidates as possible on the ballot. So we only had a handful in the last election. We still kind of came in fifth in terms of number of candidates for the parties that ran. But if we can get up to 25, that would be a huge jump. It would really send a strong signal to everybody who goes into the ballot, who sees our name on the ballot, and to the media, to the other parties, to the government, to say, hey, here's another idea, here's another approach.
What would you say to people who don't want to join a minority outsider party?
My only response would be, you can only get to be a major party by some kind of incremental step. So we're not going to go from running, 10 candidates in the last election to running one in every single riding, which would be 87. There's got to be some intermediary point. If you think, well, I don't want to run with the Libertarian Party until they're a major party. Okay, well, we'll see you 4 years from now, hopefully. But the only way it gets going is if a certain number of people are like the early adopters, right?
So what's the excitement factor for somebody to get involved now in the upcoming provincial election?
Well, one of the advantages to running with us as opposed to other parties is we allow our candidates a lot of freedom. So we allow our candidates a lot of leeway in terms of how they run their campaigns, in terms of which issues they choose to speak about and fight for. I think that the ideas of freedom and individual liberty and minimal government, people care about their neighbors, but they don't need government to hold a gun to their heads to make them care about their neighbors.